I congratulate you that you have taken decision to listen to this talk of Blue Ocean of Compliance, because in this talk I discuss the concepts of cGMP, which is going to help you establish the very good level of compliance, and it will help you to face the regulatory inspection effortlessly and in cost effective manner, right? Whenever you listen to anything periodically, so those things come to your fingertips, right? So in this way, every week I record this informal talk for you, so that we will be able to discuss the cGMP topics one by one, and it is really going to help you. So do not forget to subscribe my channel, so that every week you will not miss even one of my video. Today's topic is equipment. Why the equipments are so important, right? So whenever you manufacture any product, equipment plays very important role in that, right? We have to ensure that that equipment is calibrated, its preventive maintenance should be followed periodically, so that you can avoid many unnecessary non-compliance or out of specifications which are caused due to the equipment is not calibrated, right? So in many of the companies this happened that engineers are given rights to decide that which equipments are critical and which equipments are not critical. But actually in fact, if you will analyze the things, that you will find that there are a lot of equipments on the site, and all the equipments are kept in the category of the critical. So while you categorize the equipments on your site in critical and non-critical, you will have to ensure that the equipments which are directly having the impact on the cGMP, critical quality attribute, critical process parameter, those equipments must be categorized in the critical category, so that whenever the engineers of on your site will control the proper functioning of that equipment, so they will able to focus on those critical equipments, and it is really going to reduce the burden on your engineers, so that he will be able to concentrate and focus and follow the stringent guidelines and practices on these critical equipments. So it is very important that categorizing the equipments in critical and non-critical categories, and after that you will have to ensure that critical equipments must be monitored very strictly, right? And after that this also happens that many of the equipments are calibration of the equipments are performed by the external agencies or external parties. So you have to ensure that these external parties must be competent enough to ensure that the equipment is properly calibrated, and periodically you will have to qualify these vendors that they are able to perform their services properly, so that it will have a very good impact on the working of your equipment, right? And you know that the equipment is not properly calibrated, and equipment itself is faulty, and it is not able to give you the proper and accurate results, then whether it will be fine to rely on the results obtained by those equipments, or the product we have obtained manufacturing on that equipment, whether it is okay and it will be fine to fail any product based on the equipment which is itself not calibrated, right? So you can also conclude that no, it is not acceptable. So we have to ensure that our equipments are calibrated properly and as per its schedule, and with the qualified vendors or parties, whichever you think that they are giving the proper services for the equipments, right? With that, there are many things which are to be followed. That schedule of preventive maintenance is also to be followed. Period of calibration can be decided based on the data obtained for some period. So you will have to study, you have to calibrate the equipment, and you have to study the data obtained from that equipment, and based on that you can decide the schedule of the calibration, right? Similarly, you will have to follow the preventive maintenance schedule, right? Equipment, you will have to Also keep in mind many things which are discussed in 21 CFR 211 about the equipments subpart D, that whenever you select any equipment, so you have to select the equipment very carefully, its size, its design, and equipment is should be located on which place, right? So equipment should be designed, or you have to select the design of the equipment so that you are able to get the product which is required, means whatever which kind of product you want to manufacture. Based on that, you will have to select the design of the equipment. Size of the equipment is also should be based on the batch size which is going to be taken on that equipment, right? If the equipment size is less and you want to manufacture the batch of higher size, you will see very non-compliances, like product spillage of the product may happen from the equipment. So similarly, many non-compliance may happen if the size is not suitable for the manufacturing the batch size which you have decided. So size should also be decided and selected based on the requirement of the product you are going to manufacture, based on the size of the batch you are going to manufacture. With this, you will have to ensure that equipment should be placed so that around the equipment there should be sufficient space so that you can clean that equipment properly, you can clean the area around your equipment properly, and operation can be performed suitably, right? And another point is that material of construction, right? So whenever you are going to manufacture any batch, so you will have to select the material of construction of that equipment should be such that it should not react with the product, and the material of construction should be such that equipment will not absorb the material, and it should not react with the material or your product. Otherwise, there will be impact on the safety, quality, potency of the product. So these are the things you will have to keep in mind while you are selecting the equipment, while selecting the equipment, about the material of construction of that equipment. Another thing is that whenever you are going to use the filters to filter the product while you are manufacturing any injectables, and you want to filter any liquid, so you have to ensure that the filter should be such that it should not release the fiber in the product. Might be possible that whenever you are going to use that filter to filter any liquid and it is releasing the fibers in that injectable material, so whether it will be acceptable? No, it is not going to be acceptable. So please ensure that the filter should be used such that it is not going to release the fibers in your material. And if your product is such that using these kind of filter is necessary, then you have to take some other actions referring to the guidance, and what should we do in that case, right? These were few compliance tips which should be followed while you are handling the equipment. Yeah, and with this, the first thing is that, so whenever you receive any new equipment, or you are going to bring any new equipment or purchase any new equipment on your side, so you will also have to ensure that DQ, IQ, PQ should be performed, and FAT set test should be performed, right? DQ means design qualification, IQ means installation qualification, PQ performance qualification, and operation OQ operational qualification. And FAT means factory acceptance test, and SAT is site acceptance test. So these should be ensured. And whenever you receive any equipment, so at the time of qualification, in proper sequence and as per the guidance, as per the policies of your company, you will have to do the calibration of the equipment, right? So it is going to take you to comply with some basic compliance requirement. These were the few things about the equipment that I want to share with all of you. And with this, I would also like to discuss few things with you, that we always so worried about the preparation of the regulatory inspections, USFDA inspection, MHRA inspection, TGA inspections. But I want to tell you one thing, that whether we can make our thought process such that we are manufacturing product for the safety of the patient, to cure the patient. So if we will manufacture our product with that objective, so we will be automatically following the guidance and guidelines to manufacture the product of the good quality, and we will automatically come to that high level, so that we will be able to qualify the regulatory inspection, any inspection, effortlessly. So this approach should be there with all of us. So with that, I would also recommend you to, with listening to this blue ocean of compliance tips, you also go through blue ocean of compliance. In that you will find many elements which are not discussed in any of the guidelines, and these invisible elements causing a lot of non-compliance on site. And because we are not able to see those elements, and we keep spending the money, and we keep raising the and taking the corrective actions, and those kappas are not effective because we are not able to identify these invisible factors. So I really suggest you that you go through that book, you read that book, and you will be able to identify many invisible elements which are causing non-compliance on your site, and you will be able to save a lot of cost and lot of non-compliance on your site. With this message, Dr. Rupali Paranspe signing out until we meet again in our next blue ocean of compliance tips. Yes, and do not forget to subscribe my channel so that you will not miss any of the discussions with you, and you will be able to keep many of the cGMP compliance tips on your fingertips, right? So with this, I'm signing out until we meet again in our next blue ocean of compliance tips. Thank you.